How can I help? Let's see. I hail from Waterdeep, the city of splendors. I'm a wizard of considerable and scholar of exceptional accomplishment. I have a cat, a library, and a weakness for a good glass of wine. And if the mood takes me, I'm known to try my hand at poetry. There. Didn't that paint enough of a picture?
For a split second, you see a swirl of untamed magic. Then his defenses drop like a portcullis.
Out! That was uncalled for. Brought me back to life. In short, I've grown to trust you. Now I need you to place your trust in me. Our journey together is bound to last a while still. As such, I feel compelled to speak. I say this because there's something I desperately need. But while I'll tell you what that something is, I won't tell you why. I have to ask you to agree to this before carrying on this conversation. I'm afraid that's not going to work on me. Look, I appreciate your curiosity, but don't pursue this path. Let's agree on actions first and explanations later. Yes? That's truly disappointing. I see now that I misjudged you, so we'll dwell on the matter no longer. Or at least I know where I stand. This is a part of the journey I must walk alone. Good night. The protocol and brought me back to life. In short, I've grown to trust you. Now I need you to place your trust in me. Our journey together is bound to last a while still. As such, I feel compelled to speak. I say this because there's something I desperately need. But while I'll tell you what that something is, I won't tell you why. I have to ask you to agree to this before carrying on this conversation.
You become one with Gale's mind, and you can feel something sinister oppressing you. It's inside of you, a mighty darkness radiating from your chest. You could try to push further, but your hold over Gale feels brittle. It won't be easy delving deeper without him noticing.
What are you... You're using the tadpole against me? This is a breach of trust that... I think I thought you trustworthy in the first place. I'm leaving. I cannot stand to be around such betrayal a moment longer. I am a fool. A fool to have trusted you. This is where we part ways. To augment. Magic is... my life. I've been in touch with the weave for as long as I can remember. There's nothing like it. It's like music, poetry, physical beauty, all rolled into one and given expression through the senses. Would you like to experience this? Disinterest is such a disheartening condition. Always a pity when opportunities slip us by. Good night.
You see, or is it sense, the presence of a woman, the woman who hovered over Gale's palm. There's something like the anticipation of a kiss, then the pleasure of being cloaked in peace. You are safe. You are nestled in the cup of her hand.
You did it! You're channeling the weave. How does it feel? That it does.
The weave connects you. The moment feels intimate. You realize the weave is making you one. You have but to imagine your desire, and Gale will know it.
That was unnecessary.
The weave evaporates, and as it does so, you realize the night feels suddenly cold and lonesome.
There it goes. I suppose a blow to the stomach upsets the weave as much as it would me. I'm going to bed. Perhaps this was all a mistake. I simply have a lot on my mind. Please, just let it rest. Very well. Just now I was trying to cast a spell I once cast with ease, but I failed. You see, this fire, there was a time that I could make it come alive, that it would take the shape of a dragon and roar in delight. There was a time I could silence a beholder with a word and lift a tower from its foundations with a flourish. There was a time I was all but one with the weave, but no more. A mere shadow of the wizard I used to be. Why? Because I've lost. I've lost. An apt enough observation. I've lost Mistra. I sought to impress her personally, to turn the eyes of my muse upon me, to win favor of a goddess. But I failed, and all I invoked was death and dismissal. My death, her dismissal. Arrogance, ambition rather. And ambition is a fine thing, until suddenly it no longer is. Then again, if that is how you judge me, there's little I can do to change your mind. But know that I have this ambition still. First to save myself, and after that, the license to dream.
It happened to you again, didn't it? Another dream. Don't be coy, it's already shared. You killed and conquered, then bedded your paramour. I still feel the warmth of his touch, and the screams of those I slaughtered for him. Did you want it? What you saw? Me too. Whoever's doing this knows me well. They're the same. Blood and love are just different forms of power.
Those visions of yours, Shadowheart, they aren't dreams. They're projections. illithid ones. The tadpoles give us the power to bend others' wills, but using that power clearly comes at a price. Are we willing to pay it?
Perhaps it's time we stopped indulging in the more useful aspects of these parasites.
I said they were connected. I didn't say we should stop. Let's not throw away that power over some dreams.
You can put your own sanity at risk then. I want an end to these dreams.
Don't tell me. Another dream. And this one was more intense. One of us goes messing in heads and the brain bug gets cranky. Sure as snow in deep winter. You made a promise. I thought I could count on your word.
Power is a treacherous thing. Sometimes it makes you betray yourself.
What's the harm? We had a bad dream. Nothing more.
What I expected was sense. I hadn't figured you so short-sighted. Isn't it obvious? The Visitor wants to divide us. For each mind you poke, we edge closer to ruin.
What's better than a devil you don't know? A devil you do.
Holler in hells. You're a Cambion.
And so much more. Am I a friend? Potentially. An adversary? Conceivably. But a savior? That's for certain. Because my compassion is boundless. I stride among the needy, giving comfort where I can. And you're in dire need. One skull, 2 tenants, and no solution in sight. I could fix it all, like that. Oh, that's disappointing. I prefer it when my clients put up a fight. Only to realize victory was never an option.
This is the worst moment. When the screams of the dying have faded, and the conquering hordes howl and yelp as they come to their vile climax. Massacre. A spectacle of slaughter. And I participated. What are these bloody stumps that used to be such delicate harpists of the weave? You really are absolutely heartless, aren't you? I don't know myself anymore. All this, it's not who I am. Around you, I'm not who I want to be. I should leave.
The book is locked tight with no visible keyhole, only an oval recess in the cover's mouth. You try to examine the book, but the longer you stare, the more those piercing amethyst eyes draw you in. You can sense something dark about this tome, something profane.
That looks terribly heavy. Why don't you let me carry it for you? Excellent.
You don't know what he read, but it had an effect. His eyes are hungry, but pained.
Well, Quite the page turner. I'll get back to it when I have more time to focus. Vampires hunger, but few of their powers. Oh no. I should be cinders in this light. I hadn't seen the sun for 200 years before we crashed here. Someone, or something, wants me alive. They've changed the rules. Some of the rules, at least. Running water still burns like acid, and I don't know if I need an invitation to enter a house. As for my other quirks, well, we can figure those out in time. You're such a sweetheart. I'm just glad you're being sensible about these revelations. I was worried people might turn up with torches and pitchforks. Although there's still time.
So we're traveling with a vampire, are we? Of course we are. A word of warning, Astarion. I taste absolutely awful.
For his sake, he best not develop an appetite for Githyanki.
I wouldn't recommend it. I won't get you, but the Mind Flayers might. That's my theory, but who knows? I'm just glad you're being sensible about these revelations. I was worried people might turn up with torches and pitchforks. Although there's still time.
A vampire among us? So be it. But should I wake with so much as a drop of blood on my neck, I will end him.
Oh, and a quick word of warning, Astarion. I taste absolutely awful. Keep your distance.
Quite the opposite. I'm here in the spirit of openness and honesty to work together as a team.
A word, if you please? Remember how I told you I was in dire need of magical artifacts to absorb? Clearly the matter has hardly been a priority of yours, but even so, you can consider it closed. I no longer require assistance, neither yours nor that of artifacts.
You flutter through his mind like a bat through the night, and you see fire. You hear laughter. You smell brimstone. Mocking words drift back to you. This is the House of Hope.
Stop that! How dare you? Forget whatever it was you saw. It's all beyond you now anyway.